have an unusual situation now compared to those roughly 1 million a year stroke victims, and that is you have a do-over. Mm. You're back.
Yeah.
You got to figure it out.
Yeah.
You know, you're not really starting from zero because people do know who you are in the industry. Where's the industry going? What's going on? Where's the excitement? I mean, obviously it's different than what it was.
You know, I took a step off of the fast track 5 years ago. And I've been watching it, but I haven't really been participating like I am now. And the industry has changed and transitioned. If you think about 5 years ago, there was no iPhone. I mean, think about wireless. What do you think about with the wireless industry? Most people in the wireless industry think about the smartphone revolution that's been coming since the iPhone. We've had RIM Blackberries, we've had Palm Pilots before that, but we have not had, they were always 5, 10, 15% of the marketplace. They were only for the business marketplace until 3 years ago when the iPhone hit. The iPhone came out of the marketplace, and that brought in waves of consumers. And now they're selling, 10, 20, 30, 40 million of these devices around the world. And that started to shake up the marketplace. All of a sudden, everybody wants to sell smartphones. The majority of the phones in the marketplace were regular phones, small segment were smartphones. Now it's reversed. All of a sudden, the regular phones are just not selling. Now, it might just be because of the economy or it might be because of whatever, but they're just not selling. The part of the business that's moving and selling are the smartphones.
Yeah, I'm going to let you off the hook because, in one way, because as people watch this, they're thinking, well, what about so-and-so? We're recording this show way in advance of when it's going to air. So a lot has happened between, speaking of Rip Van Winkle, as we're doing this and when it's broadcast. So if we're missing something, like whatever that thing is that Apple's about to announce, oh well. The issue that it seems to me is that there's not enough bandwidth to make these things work.
Well, that's a problem. It wasn't a problem until all of a sudden Apple came out with their iPhone and everybody's using it and downloading tons of applications and watching live television on your cell phone.
It wasn't designed for that.
It wasn't designed for that, but all of a sudden it is. We're realizing the cell phone and the cell phone network is exploding. It's continuing to explode. It was exploding by new sales to customers, but now we have about 90% of the marketplace. Everybody has a cell phone. So where's the growth going to come from? It's going to come from these advanced services. And if you look at the iPhone App Store, where you can download applications to use on the iPhone, 75,000 applications that you can download on it. 75,000. It's only been after 2.5 or 3 years. It's continuing to grow. We're seeing that now with the Droid phone that's coming out from Verizon.
Well, it's old news by the time this
is. That's true. And so every one of these app stores all of a sudden is huge, and that's going to be the growth of the industry. But also the wireless industry is going to move into these other areas. The wireless industry is going to be moving into, for instance, Sprint is working with Ford and putting a browser on the dashboard of a car. AT&T is working with power companies, and they don't have to send meter readers out. You can read the meter wirelessly at the office. The medical industry is going wireless. They're putting all of these mountains of patient files of records for the last 10, 20 years that they've worked with this patient onto wireless, onto the internet and putting it on wireless devices so that the doctor always has access to the information wherever the doctor is, whether he's walking through the halls in the hospital or in the office dealing with the patients. So it's industry after industry after industry is going to be taking advantage of this wireless technology, and I think that's going to be the next new revolution in wireless. It's the smartphones and moving into these other industries.
You had mentioned one area that's growing is that phone companies try and figure out that copper that comes into your house, and it's been there since the 30s. Yeah. What are we going to do with that? We have so much of it. And in Georgia, AT&T's U-verse, that's how they bring television into your house over that copper wire, they're limited in terms of competition. Verizon can't come in because they don't have the wires into your house.
They're limited now. If you look back 10 years ago, if you want to make a phone call, you had to use a phone company, period. If you're looking at what you have today, you can make a phone call on the phone company, on the cable television company, on the wireless companies, on all these VoIP providers that are out there, and it's continuing to move forward. If we look at the choices that we have today, we always had to do business with separate companies. You had to do business with a telephone company, a cell phone company, a cable television company, internet company, but they're all separate companies in separate sectors. What we have today, is the sectors are gone. The companies are starting to offer all these services. So you can go to one company like AT&T or Comcast, and you can buy all the services from one company and say goodbye to the others. All of a sudden, the industry is going to change immensely and very rapidly. So everybody's going to be choosing one, and they're going to be saying goodbye to the rest. So all of a sudden, instead of doing business with multiple companies, you're going to do business with one. This is a customer-oriented marketplace all of a sudden. All of a sudden, the customer has the power of the choice. We never had that before. All of a sudden, for instance, Comcast, which took forever to come and repair problems, is coming very quickly now because they're trying to realize that they have a competitive threat. They could lose everything with a particular customer. So this is actually a good time that we're moving into. And the business that I'm focusing on now is looking at this transitioning industry and writing these research reports and making them available online. And it's amazing what's going on in this industry. We've only been talking about it for a few minutes here.
You are selling these reports or giving them away?
Yeah, it's a typical industry research situation where you write the reports, you market them on the web, on the website, and you sell them. I would love to be able to share more of what's going on with the listeners and the viewers, but we don't have time here. But if they would like, I would be happy to send a free copy of the latest report that I'm working on right now, which will probably be done by the time people see this. It's the state of the industry, the telecom in transition, and it's going to talk about the changing telecom industry.
And they can get that by?
They can get that by logging on to jeffkagan.com, www.jeffkagan, JEFFKAGAN.com. It's my website. Just send me an email on the website and tell me you saw the show here and ask for the free report. I'll know what you're talking about, and I'll be happy to send you a free report.
Nice to have you back in more ways than one.
It's good to be back.
Jeff Kagan from jeffkagan.com, and we'll watch and report. It'll be very interesting to see how this goes. Thank you for being with us, and thank you for watching. You can watch a stream of this broadcast on the GPB website. Just check us out at gpb.org and do a search on Georgia's Business. You can also download the audio track of this on iTunes. Just do a search on the term Georgia's Business in the podcast section. And you can sound off to me directly at richardwarner.com. Now, until we meet again, as I mentioned, this is our final broadcast for a while. Thanks for watching, and until next time, don't sell yourself short. Did you miss one of our Georgia's Business broadcasts, or would you like to see one again? Maybe you'd like to get a transcript of a recent show. That and more are available as nearby as your personal computer. To check out our video archive and more information, head to the internet and log on to our website at gpb.org/Georgia's Business.
This has been a production of Georgia Public Broadcasting.